Here, make sure we're looking good. Mic check 1 2. What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday. And today, I hope everyone had a really great weekend. Coming off of a big holiday weekend, the kick of the holiday season, kickoff of the holiday season. It's here. Christmas is here. Just that good time. Lots of great vibes. Um, and I know some people were trying to find different ways of making it better. Some people, weren't spending time with family. Some people were working. I'm happy that people found a better way. I've just been talking to some different people, so I'm really happy to hear things like that. But leading into this week's big topic it's the big breakup. The biggest breakup that some of us will ever go through in our lives. When I talk about this big breakup, I'm talking about the person that you love the most, the person that you are just so enamored with, the person that you have created everything in your life with. Sitting back and just recognizing that this person is not the best person for you. It's a very, 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 very hard truth for a lot of us. And of course, I'm going to put my spin on it, the happy spin. When I talk about this person, and this was really brought to my attention, really predominantly why I even wanted to talk about this, especially around this time of the year, because you're probably like, well, why are we talking about this during this time of the year? It's such a happy time, or seemingly happy time. What is going on? I feel like I'm a little laggy. Hang tight. All right, so I'm just going to rock with this, and let me know if you can't hear it. Let me know if things aren't coming in particularly well. I'll be keeping an eye on the comment section. But why would you bring something up like this? Because this is such a common thing that happens. And a lot of people never get to this place where they're excited to break up with this person. They're excited to say that I can be even better without this person because they get so stuck on where they are at. Regardless of the time of the year, this is a very hot thing. Back to what I was saying before, why this came like predominantly in my face, boom, in your face, is because the conversation I was having with a lady last week. As some of you all might know that I was opening up my schedule. I was going to take on 5 entrepreneurs. I got working with 4 entrepreneurs now. There's still one spot. I'm not really broadcasting that, but if you're curious, take me up on that. For people who want to get past the what do I do next syndrome, what's the best options for me? How do I excel with what I'm doing? Some of you took me up on that, and I appreciate it, but it's still got one spot open. But one lady in particular, and we're still kind of working through things about, when exactly we're starting, but we're moving forward. But it was a breakup that needed to happen, is what came out of our time together. A breakup from somebody that, in my opinion, is abusive. And you very rarely will hear me say words like that, but definitely abusive. And what came about in our conversation, I was talking to her, she's 40 something years old. She has 3 kids, husband doing really well, but it's time to end it. It's time to end this cantankerous, this relationship that, she's held on to for 40 plus years. Now, that's not an easy thing. A 40-some-year-old woman, having to depart, a 40-some-year-old person, 50-some, whatever the age is, that's a long time to be with someone. That is a very long time to be with someone, especially when you're not getting exactly what you want out of it. The relationship that I'm really talking about is a relationship that you have with yourself and how you're holding on to a lot of things that are they're not really you anymore. It's breaking up with that best friend that you have that is here. It could be that inner voice. It could be that inner critic. It could be some old behaviors, but breaking up, and this is a breakup, make no mistake. It hurts. It hurts. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of support. It takes a lot of encouragement. People are going to look at you like you're crazy. But when you have a breakup, and this is why I say a breakup, we got to really sit back and recognize when you're trying to let go of old behaviors that are not treating you well, that are not kind to you, that don't give you any care consideration for where you are, that are just causing you to say things about yourself that probably aren't even true anymore, that is an abusive relationship. That is a relationship that is more harmful than it is good. And when you are in a place when you recognize that, hey, I want to do something better, this is like breaking up with your best friend. This friend is not doing anything good for you. This friend is not doing anything that really that's becoming of you. And it's neurophysiologically speaking, and I'm talking more so for here, it is a loss. And a lot of people ask, there's many reasons for people being stuck, many different reasons. But one of the reasons that stops us from moving forward when we're stuck so we can get past some of those things is we have this relationship with who we think we are, who we think we need to be, or things about the world, even our environment that are true that really aren't even true. I've done it, and quite honestly, I do it. I always am working to be better. I'm working to be better. But with this woman in particular, why I'm starting this week off is recognizing that this is a relationship that is not good for you. The way that you're talking to yourself, the way that you're not celebrating. A lot of people don't even celebrate stuff, even when they accomplish something, even when they recognize, hey, this isn't a good relationship. Celebrate that. That's a step. But when you're with that person, aka that person who you created a long time ago, when conditions were not where you are have right now, it becomes this friend that lies in the bed, this person that you think you love, but it don't love you back. It doesn't, because if it did, it would not allow you to, to be robbed of your happiness, to be robbed of your energy. It's breaking up with a best friend who you were. If you're picking up on everything to say it directly, it's leaving that person who you thought you had to become to do the things that you want to do. It was hard. God, it was hard for me to let go of a lot of things about myself because of the way I was raised. Sure, people would say, well, no, it's not what you raised, how you raised, what, who you decide to become. No, there's a lot of environmental factors there. But regardless of what those things were not getting me, I still came to know it and love it. With this lady in particular, when it came out that the way that she came to be, so poised, the way that she came to be so controlled and so concerned about people, almost now it's to the point where it's starting to immobilize her, where it's starting to get her to a place where what are they going to say about me? We have got to start separating that, and it can get tough and challenging. All this week we're going to be breaking this down about the breakup. Now that's the positive about this. So we are talking about that it's difficult to change. There's nothing wrong with many of us. I've yet to find anybody who had something wrong with them. Sure, they could be doing things better. Sure, they might have some glitches or quirks about them, but there's been nothing wrong with anybody that I've talked to. It's just the way that they navigate life, the way their brain works. It's the way they have to handle things or have decided to handle things, but we just need to make some tweaks. But who you are telling yourself who you need to become, or who you were, to decide who you want to be, that very seldom works. You have to look in the present. And if it's hard for you to look in the present, I'm here to get you to listen up. We're starting with the fact that there's nothing wrong with you. We just need to practice letting go of some things. And I always use this metaphor. Many times we're trying to move forward in life and we've got our hands just full. And I always use the castaway metaphor. Tom Hanks, well, a phenomenal actor. I really appreciate, don't know anything about him. But I appreciate anybody who, has a certain level of privacy about their personal lives. I respect that, but that's all in the conversation. But in the movie Castaway, if you've never seen it, guy gets stuck on an island. Plane goes down, gets stuck on an island. He had to do some things to get by that all of us might disagree with. Everybody, no cap. He had to do some things that none of us would agree with, but it kept him alive and survived. And he survived. But when it came time for him to thrive, to say, hey, I want to do better, he had this entire skill set of things. Thank you, Christy. He's got this entire skill set of things that helped him survive. He has this entire skill set that helped him get water, that helped him, even talking with Wilson. He had the ball. It just seemed obscure to everybody. You hardly laugh, but you can understand because we saw what he had to do to survive, and we saw what he had to do to see the next day. It makes sense. But in a thriving environment, for him to get off that island, he had to let go of some things. He had to, I'm assuming everyone's seen it, so I'm not going to try to ruin the plot too much, but I'm just going to get into it. When it came time for him to leave that island, he had to make a decision on what things he was going to take with him, just like we all have to. You get to a place where you might have been poor, you might have been struggling, you might have had to have a low self-esteem, because if you showed off too much, if you put yourself out there, the pack could turn against you. Your family would be upset with you. Friends and loved ones could say that you're full of yourself. Those are injuries. So you play a little cool. You fly under the radar. That is something that you learn to survive. That's not something to make fun of. This topic bothers me a little bit. You can tell because I see a lot of people attacking people's survival styles versus them recognizing they're working on changing things. But back to the point of the story. When it's time for us to thrive, when it's time for Tom Hanks to leave an island, we have to let go of some things. Some things are not serving us. Some things don't help us. And when we sit back, you're like, oh my gosh, if I had like a Wilson, act like Venom, here's Wilson. If you don't like Venom, deal with it. This is Wilson. He loved this thing. It didn't love him back. He loved so many things about it. It kept him company when it was cold. It kept him company when he thought he was going, a fool. But he knew it to be what it was. It was just his friend. And when he came to say, hey, I'm ready to do better, and throughout the movie, it happened accidentally, but he had to let go of him. And it hurts. My God, it hurt. You could see the pain in a man's face. And back with the topic, put into real world, when we're working on doing better, we recognize we're not getting everything we want. We could have some things about us that we think that's who we are. And we love that. I used to think that I was not good with people. I used to believe that I was stupid, fat, and ugly. I used to believe that I had nothing to offer. And I believed that. Good, bad, or indifferent, that's what I believed. With this lady in particular, she thought that she could not be successful. She only deserved to make 6 figures a year. Yes, she's doing great, but that's not what she wanted. She wanted to do amazing. There's nothing wrong with these things. But when you are ready to say, I'm ready to let go so I can become more, so I let go so I can grow, it can be a little painful. It can be a little daunting to some degree. And people will try to say, every now and again you read like, oh, it's uncomfortable, it's comfortable. That's an intellectual concept. Let me see who you become when reality hits and you have to do something that you thought you could never do. And you've told yourself for 20 years, 10 years, 5 months, 50 years, and you go out and do that. That's when the sugar honey iced tea gets real. That's when all of a sudden what you read disappears. It's what you know. And it is a breakup. But when you're with Tom Hanks, we're going back to the movie, when you get off that island and you're like, oh my gosh, and I'm ready to thrive. It hurts, but you have to let go of some things. You will mourn. This is why this is a breakup. You will be upset. You will be frustrated. You will be annoyed. You will doubt. All these things come about. This is a breakup. Make no mistake about it. It is. But that's why we're going to be breaking this breakup down so you can be so much better from it. So we're starting the first day off with education. This is a breakup from a best friend, from a loved one that's just not serving you anymore. It's not going to be comfortable. I'm not saying it's not going to be easy. I'm not saying that at all. If you're used to seeing a red car every day, when that red car's not there, there's a piece of us. It's like, I feel like I'm missing something. That's the easy thing to understand. I just don't see the red car. But this doesn't move that fast all the time. We're all a little different though. Tomorrow we're going to be taking it to the next level. Where do I start? All right, I get it. So I went through the breakup. I recognize that I have a skill set that's not helping me thrive. It's just only helping me survive. That is what we're going to be saving for tomorrow. But remember, this is the biggest, best breakup you will ever have in your life. Some things you get to keep, make no mistake. But some of those things we're taking away because we're going to replace it with things that work better for you. All right, guys, I will see you all tomorrow. If you got questions, do not be afraid to ask me. Christy, I appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful day. You are one of the rays of sunshine that I know in my life. I will see you all tomorrow. Rock it out and take care. Teaching you how to own